What's going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today we're going to talk to you about Rivian. Give you a quick overview of some of the data points, what's really driving it higher, and then aside from that, what analysts have been doing associated to Rivian's upcoming Q3 earnings. So I want to go over all the things that you need to know, but first make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Rivian is having a pretty good day, piggybacking off of the broader market, of course. Rivian's up 3.21%, $10.54 the low, $11.12 the high. So very nice run first thing. And looking at the volume, 23.9 million for volume, 31.4 is the average. Roughly about 2 hours left in the trading day, so isn't necessarily going to hit the average, but still a good change of events, because that's one thing that's been really plaguing Rivian, if that makes sense, and that is just the lower volume. But today there isn't anything coming out from Rivian itself, no SEC filings, no press releases, nothing along those lines. Rather, just the broader market. A lot of analysts are already forecasting for instance, like Apple and a couple of other big names to hit home run earnings. So the market's getting a little bit more optimistic. Plus, over the weekend, Israel didn't retaliate. So essentially that is kind of a good thing. And that is causing at the same time oil to tank, right? So yeah, I think it's all playing out fairly good. So crude right now is down 5.86%, NASDAQ up 0.55, S&P up 0.45, and Dow is up 0.77. So a lot of good optimism in the broader market. Even looking at shorts, they are returning 214,000 shares in Rivian. 18.74% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 137.1 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average 1.28%, and then utilization 64.56. Just to draw your attention to this, so shorts for the most part were returning quite a lot, and until recently that is where it did get back to kind of this 18% range from 16. So shorts really did double down recently on Rivian, and there was a lot of kind of negative things that's been lingering, one of which is just optimism for their upcoming Q3 earnings. I think that has been diminishing quite a lot, and just Rivian's technicals. In Rivian's case, especially for the technicals, the writing has been on the wall for a while now that it is pulling back. Even before the broader market started to really take a significant sell-off, like the whole EV sector, Rivian was kind of the front runner for that. But aside from that, as of today, it is getting above the ALMA, so kind of showing more of a possible trend, or at least it's fighting to get above that. Still below a lot of the key pivotal moving averages. Stochastic RSI is looking rather optimistic, so the blue line above the orange, but it is considered rather overbought. So the first sign of weakness, this is where you could see some consolidation. And I know that sounds crazy to talk on consolidation when it's at $10 and change, but that's once again based on the technicals. And then at the same time, MACD is looking relatively good. Just to give you a quick overview, because it's been a good week and a bit since my last Rivian video. So there was a couple new ratings that did come out. One done 4 days ago, $13 price target. Barclays, Dan, who has a 39% success rating. On a side note, all analysts that pretty much cover EVs are wrong. So their ratings as a byproduct kind of suck. But aside from that, 6 days ago, $12 sell rating. JP Morgan, Ryan, who has a 46% success rating. And then 8 days ago, $14 RBC, Tom, who has 45. So all in all, not necessarily the best. But a lot of these new ratings that did come out over the last week and a bit, they have changed the estimates. So when it comes to earnings, in case you do not know, there are several things that the market really cares about: future guidance, earnings per share, and revenue, and as well deliveries and whatever else, but Rivian's already disclosed all that. But looking at earnings per share, there was currently 18 analysts with a consensus of negative 89 cents, and now there's 19 with negative 91 cents. So a new rating did come in, or I guess a estimate did come in, and it was very bearish, enough so to cause it to go from negative 81 to negative 91. So not the best. Same goes for the revenue, regrettably. So it did go from 1.11 billion for the revenue forecast to 1.04 billion. Two new ratings did come in though. So that did change quite a lot. So down 6.21%. So I think that's kind of a good thing. And hear me out. Obviously, analysts lowering their estimates isn't positive, but it's kind of lowering the bar. So I've kind of mentioned this in the past. If a company is going into the earnings and just the expectations are so low, that is kind of a good thing because it gives an opportunity for them to easily get above that. Whereas if analysts were kind of raising their estimates and then Rivian was to miss, it would look a lot worse than possibly what is going to play out. So that's maybe one way to see it, a glass half full kind of scenario, if that makes sense. But this is a quick update on this. But like I said, based on the technicals, things are looking somewhat okay. So it is once again trying to fight and get it above that. So hopefully shorts do continue to return and get back to roughly that 16% range where it previously was. But aside from that though, 7.51 million in calls, 2.04 million in puts. 46% of all the options being done today are bearish, and a lot of big money in general is getting in, more than the norm. But of the call options that are being purchased, you do see a consensus for it to be roughly around that $12 range by this week, so more of a good recovery. And encumbering their earnings, so the week ending November the 8th, you see roughly around $14 to $15 anticipated. So let me know your thoughts on that. On a side note, options is just merely a segment. It does not change the stock price whatsoever. Looking at the bears though, they are anticipating kind of the low end for it to be roughly around $9 post earnings. So there's a lot more upside anticipated based on this, of course. But these are some of the transactions that are occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. So somewhat mixed, some buys, some sells. So majority of the volume being done today is algorithmic trading. Algos are picking up on the immense optimism in the market, and that's one thing that's really propelling Rivian and just a lot of other growth stocks higher. Currently with it at $10.79, it is right above this R1, so watch for it to get above this $10.75 mark. If not, 1041 will be a strong support. I don't see that being touched, at least given the data, unless it comes out negative possibly. And in case you don't know, the data that is coming out this week is insane. So just to give you a very, very brief overview, starting off tomorrow, you have job openings. 7.8 mil is the forecast. That's followed by GDP. 3.3% is that forecast. Thursday, you have PCE. So, of course, PCE, the Feds like to look at for inflation rather than CPI. Then you have non-farm payroll, unemployment, and then ISM manufacturing. So this is like the Super Bowl of all weeks. So unless one of those is dramatically negative, I don't see this pivot point being touched whatsoever. And then flip side, $10.95, and then $11.28 is going to be the following resistance levels. So Rivian did kind of bounce off of this R3 as far as the high, roughly that general area. So I think there is a lot more room for Rivian to go up. Of course, there is still a lot of risks involved in just Rivian right now and just the broader market, but I think it is still getting a lot of attention from big money, and sometimes it's good to follow what big money is doing. So let me know your thoughts on Rivian. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? What have you been doing? And have you been dabbling with options, especially for their upcoming earnings? Are you bullish? Are you bearish? What are you doing? On a side note, if you want an options tutorial, I can do a very quick one prior to their earnings, just on things, basic stuff, buying calls and puts, or possibly selling calls and puts as well. Whatever floats your boat, because with options you can be bullish, bearish, you can do anything, and yeah, it all kind of works out. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. 2 things I do want to share with you: take advantage of this promo because it gives you 8 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. This is a kick-ass deal. And then aside from that, I did launch my memberships with this YouTube channel. So if you like the content, want to support the channel, you can definitely do so. Or if you want buy signals on stocks and options, I also have a tier for that as well. And so with all that, appreciate all of you watching.